Now we cooking with gas. Almost there, almost there. Okay, so Corey, I hate that we couldn't share all of that with you because that whole monologue was awesome, right? So here's my questions. Amy said she did see it, and I can't tell how many are in the room right now. So I'll just go ahead and talk. Amy said she did see it, but Amy, tell me, and anybody else who may be on here that I cannot see right now, tell me what um, your favorite piece from Chappelle's live or monologue was for you. Please tell me what you liked most about that monologue. That's SNL monologue because it was awesome. Tell me what you liked most about it. I thought while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit. Corey said I watch it. I missed most of it by the time I remembered he was on. Yeah, I didn't watch it till after the fact either. I didn't watch it the day of, but I watched it. I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, and I thought, oh my God! First of all, I love Dave Chappelle anyway. But the things that what I thought was awesome about it, he's true. He's true wherever he goes anyway. Uh, but the fact that in this time that is, pretty critical, I think, because there is so much. Um, I think there's so much, you know, uh, friction in the air, right? So you would think that. I don't know. He might be a little afraid to say some of the stuff he said, but he did not. He did not hold back at all, like he never does. Corey said he was on. He was introducing the band, and I had to turn it. Well, he said some interesting things. One of the things that he said, which I thought was great, he talked about being truthful in this United States. Considering the fact that that doesn't happen very often. But what he said was that it was a shame that, and I just thought this line was everything. He said it's a shame that, and of course, he has a way of building you up. He gets people excited and they're laughing and cackling, and in the middle of the cackle, he'll throw some knowledge at you that you weren't expecting. And that's kind of where we were when everybody was up and laughing, and he said it's a damn shame that you can't tell the truth in this country unless you end it with a punchline. Amy said, "Girl, I watched the musicians and was cracking up because they weren't at all. That one sitting in the very front, Amy." I said, "He gonna shit on himself." You could tell he was angry. Even though he had that mask over, he sat there the entire time like this. And then at one point, he did like this. And I don't remember what that was about, but it was, just two or three little claps. But other than that, that brother stood there staunch as if he probably was thinking, listen, y'all don't know who I got to go home to or who I got to deal with once I get off this stage. And I ain't about to be, I'm not about to be sucked in by Dave Chappelle because I got to go and see the other folk that don't care nothing about Dave Chappelle. But I thought that line I thought was extremely telling. It was certainly the truth, but they said it with a laugh, of course, because they were in the middle of laugh when he hit him with that gut punch and said, "You can't even tell the truth about the racism in this world in this country, unless you followed up with a punchline." Amy said he's speaking on being humble during the time of victory. Him speaking, yeah, that was good too. Yeah, so at the very end, Corey, he talked about, yeah, that was very good. How we should be humble in a time of victory. If you were the person who was voting for Biden, right? And then he went on to explain, because he's a best storyteller. He's one of the best storytellers. Yeah, at the very end. Okay, so Corey, did you hear him talking about the fact that he remembered what it felt like to be in a situation where, you weren't the winner 4 years ago? And he gave several other examples. I can't remember what they were right now, but several other points to solidify the fact that you feel a certain way when you feel like when you feel like one thing he said was he had a target. He mentioned police officers having targets on their backs. He says, I know what that feels like. And then he mentioned two or three other things, but he was talking about how all of those things that white people are feeling now, we felt them all before. And so he says it like in a way that he explains it in a way that I'm sure they're like, yes, yes, that's exactly what I'm feeling. And once he gives you the example and lays out the example, then he'll turn it around and say, yeah, I know what that feels like. Because what's interesting is that he showed the dichotomy, between what they may be feeling like and the fact that they probably have not thought about. We felt the same way, that we're feeling the same way. So when he mentioned the thing about Reagan, for instance, when he talked about Reagan, I thought about his wife and that campaign that she did, that just say no to drugs, even though they have flooded the black community with drugs. They went through this whole campaign about just say no to drugs, just say no to drugs, of course, which was a tag on to what he was doing. But what's interesting is that he talked about how many drug addicts really are in the white community now as a result of the stuff that's happened with the pandemic. When he said that, I'm gonna tell you what I thought about. I thought about, one of my girlfriends told me that she went to the doctor, and I'm not sure what she went for. She said that she talked to her doctor about some anxiety medicine, but she didn't want to take any anxiety medicine. And she said that the doctor said to her, my girlfriend is a black lady. She said the doctor said to her, well, let me just say something to you, because she's asked her what was wrong. She asked her what was wrong. Why do you think you're stressed out, so on and so forth. And she began to say some of the reasons that she felt like she was stressed out. But one of the things that she said was, and I'm a black woman, and and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth, and I have black male relatives in my family, and so on and so forth. And she said that the doctor said, well, I don't want to discount anything that you said. I don't know why this looks like it's. Anyway, she said, the doctor said, I don't want to discount anything that you said. She said, but let me just say something to you that you may not be aware of. And then the doctor went on to tell her that a lot of her patients, a lot of her white female patients were dealing with some of the same issues in terms of they've been asking for. She said, you don't want to take medication. She said, and I got to fight them about medication because many of them have become drug addicts. This is the doctor telling her. Many of them have become addicts and have become dependent on, anything that will lighten their load. She said, so don't feel like it's just you, because I want you to know that white women are probably feeling it more than many. And she talked about this, which I thought was interesting. The doctor said to her that there were a lot of her patients that come in and they're stressed out simply because, or they're dealing with a certain stress that has to do with the fact that they no longer believe in Trump and his presidency, but they don't have the voice, can't voice it in their households, and they don't feel comfortable or empowered enough to vote for anyone else because their husbands are looming over them. I thought, wow, that is some deep shit right there. That is some deep shit. So that's kind of the stuff that he was, touching on in the monologue. The fact that the ailings that they are experiencing as a result of this pandemic is the same shit that black folks have been dealing with for years and years and years. So it was okay when they flooded the ghettos and they flooded the black community with drugs and Reagan's thought to us or what he suggested that we do was just get over it, pretty much. He said, but it's hard to get over it when doing this you, right? It's the same shit. We all dealing with the same shit. That's really what it came down to. So I thought that was a very powerful monologue. And I'm not even scratching the surface. That's why I was trying to watch it with y'all. I ain't even scratching the surface because it was pretty big. Anything else that you want to add or Amy, anything else you all want to say, please go ahead and do that now in the chat. Since I came back on, since we loaded back up, I can't see at all who's on. So I'm going to look on my phone right now because I can't see anything. So Corey said that's what she saw. She said, I did see all. Oh, you saw all of that part. Oh, I didn't hear that. Sorry. I'm giving you all the background, all the business. All right. Corey said, what ridiculousness and insanity. I'll be labeled the angry black woman before anybody makes me vote a particular way. Silly. Yeah, that's how I feel too. I thought when she just shared that with me, I thought, damn, that's heavy, you know. However, we've dealt with a lot of heavy shit, so I'm just saying, I just didn't imagine, and I guess the doctor knew that we wouldn't have imagined. That's why she told my girlfriend, I'm gonna tell you something that you may not be aware of. There are a lot of folk, a lot of white women that are feeling the pressure, some real pressure, and that they're you know, the way they take their medications, are a pure example of that. Need I say more? So share the do me a favor, ladies. Thank you for coming in too. I appreciate you coming back. I appreciate you so coming back. Please do me a favor and share the stream now that we are back on. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for the next topic. If you have anything else you'd like to share about the Dave Chappelle SNL monologue, please, let's do that. Please do that now. But I'm a little upset now because I had another video for y'all set up, but I do have some paperwork, so I can, for my just in case. Thank God it's just in case, right? Or we be in trouble. Hey, Tracy, Trace, you found your way back. What's going on, woman? What's going on? I wish that we really could have had that Dave Chappelle monologue discussion, because I know you would have had something to say about Dave Chappelle in that monologue. I know that. Anything you'd like to add about that monologue, Tracy? What was your takeaway from the from Dave Chappelle's monologue on SNL? I'm just assuming that you watched it. Let me know what your takeaway was. We are talking about how powerful it was. Corey said, I'm thinking about us arguing about Ice Cube and the weaklings are being intimidated into voting for a fool. Right. Yeah, weaklings. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, when you say weaklings, I'm just thinking about the fact that, yeah, that's probably a good name for it, because well, let me say, my understanding, or from my experience, from what I can tell, a lot of times, yeah, let me just leave that. Let me leave that right there. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm leaving it right there. Tracy said, what's good? Dave is the boldest, absolutely boldest. That's it. The boldest comic in the industry. My takeaway is he gives zero fucks. Yeah, that's a great takeaway, Tracy, because he don't. Wait, let me take that back. Let me see. Amy said, "Bring on the angels from Africa, girl." That bullshit. Tracy said he gives zero fucks. So I'm gonna say, I think you're right. I think he gives zero fucks when we're talking about what white folks might think about what he say. But I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know if people real. I'm sure thinking people will. But one thing that he do give a fuck about, and that is the black community. I'm not sure what kind of philanthropy he's into or any of that, but I know that when he speaks his heart to white people, and to power, you can hear his love for his community. You can hear his love for who he is. One thing I like about him too, I was thinking about this earlier today. One thing I like about Dave Chappelle is he is unapologetically a black man, right? But he doesn't lord it over you. It's not. He's not. I don't know if you'll ever see him with wearing mud cloth and a dashiki. I'm not sure about any of that. I've never seen him anything like that. But I know that if you really hear his conversation when it comes to the disparages between black and white people, and the black community and the white people, you can really hear his love for the black community, I believe. I do know, yes, I sure do know he still lives in Antioch, Tracy. I was telling Famara that last night when we were watching the video. I said to him, he actually lives about 15 minutes from Wilberforce. Yeah, I know he lives in Antioch. Ain't that something? Is it called Antioch, or it's called Yellow Springs, isn't it? I think it's called Yellow Springs, Ohio, but the school is Antioch, if I remember correctly. But I remember this though, Trace. Let me tell y'all this. I don't know if you all have ever been to Wilberforce University or the Central State University, but let me tell you something about the area or the little town that Dave Chappelle lives in. And my understanding is he was raised there. He said that he's from, I think he says he's from Atlanta or something like that. But he wasn't raised wherever he was. He was raised in Yellow Springs, I believe it is. But listen, let me tell you about Yellow Springs. So funny. So Tracy and I went to school together at Wilberforce University. That's where we met. But there's a back road. I can't remember. Yeah, I think so, Tracy. She said, I can't. You may be right. I just remember white folk laying in the grass, standing in the sun. Exactly. Listen. And Antioch College is also the same college that um, Martin Luther King's wife went to. I'll never forget that. But anyway, let me tell you about Yellow Springs. So it's about 15 minutes from our school, which was in the cornfield. Tracy, what's the name of that? What's that road? What's that back road that you take you straight into Yellow Springs? If you were on the road, if you left, hey, Kenya, what's going on? Oh, awesome! Thank you, Boulevard 40. I appreciate that. Okay, so there is a road, a back road, in the back of Wilberforce University. You could take this back road, one straight shot straight to Yellow Springs, which is what Dave is talking about. Now, this is what's funny. I am not lying to you when I say if you get on that road, you go that first, I don't know, that first 7-8 miles, and everything seems like regular. She said, not sure. That's right. We used to call it the backbone. That's right, the backbone. You take the backbone straight into Yellow Springs. You go maybe 7-8 miles, and everything was just normal, seemingly. But God is my witness. I'm not exaggerating to you. You go more than maybe 9 exactly. 10 miles, Tracy said pitch black. Yes, pitch black, right? But not only pitch black. You go about that 9th or 10th mile, and it seems like, which is probably the case, and I think about it, it's probably really more than what I'm being silly, but anyway. The atmosphere, it's like the air changes. Because the deeper you go into that blackness that Tracy is writing about, you all of a sudden you can't hear nothing but a bird every now and go chirp, chirp, chirp. Chirp, 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 chirp. Chirp, chirp. Exactly. We used to be like, it's like going into the twilight zone because everything changes. Everything slows down. So you drive about, after you start hearing nothing but chirp, chirp, chirp. Chirp, chirp, chirp. It's almost like you think that the birds aren't real birds. They planted somewhere. These ain't real birds. These birds are planted somewhere. These are fake birds in the trees. After you hear that for maybe 3 or 4 miles, you through darkness, it just opens up into this little town, and I'm not lying. You open to this little town, and there's nothing like, because this is the kind of stuff that we would see. First of all, they don't have no commercial business, not no big commercial businesses there, so you ain't gonna find no McDonald's. They have their own little pizza parlors and their own little mom and pops. They don't let big companies come in there. She said Tracy, our town was Mayberry then. You switch into the Twilight Zone. Right. Like Mayberry going. That's true, Tracy. Going from Wilberforce to Yellow Springs was like going from Mayberry to the Twilight Zone. That's absolutely true. So it opens up and you start seeing these people, this little town area. And it would be nothing to see, for instance, a black man sitting on his porch with his Puerto Rican wife and the Asian child that they adopted, or I don't know, had. It's weird. Everybody's quiet. Everybody's slow. Everybody's talking. Hey, how you doing? And everybody looked like hippies. That's the first place I ever saw Birkenstock, because they have stores that's all they carry. You see these little mom pop shops, and all they carry is hippie paraphernalia, and it's a lot of that over there. So it really is like going into the Twilight Zone. It's a very interesting place to go too. If you wanted to, Tracy said everybody is high. That's the truth. At least that's what it seems like. Corey, Dave Chappelle and his family fit right. That's exactly. They fit right in. You're absolutely right. And my understanding is his father was a college professor, and I want to say that he may have been a professor at Antioch. Don't quote me on that. But no, you're absolutely right. They fit right in because it's like going in, it's like walking into Woodstock or something like that. It's weird, but it's a very serene place to be. And it probably is. My thought is they probably don't have any hotels. I don't know that. They probably have bed and breakfasts there. But it would be a good place for Airbnb because it's very serene, very surreal, honestly. So, yes. So there we go. That is that Dave Chappelle. Anything else want to anybody else want to add to what we know about Dave? Let's do that. And if not, we're going to move on. Tracy said, and they know who they know who the outsiders are because you're gonna come in there with some jeans that are not Levi. Yeah, they know you because everybody know everybody. You're absolutely right. You come in and they watch you too. When you come down that one row, you come in, it's kind of look at you like, I think that, somebody's ringing the bell, letting them know up front. Some, an outsider. There's an outsider here. There's an outsider here. I ain't lying. So yeah, that's my experience with Yellow Springs, Ohio, and my experience with Dave Chappelle's latest SNL monologue. All right, all right, all right. So not Tracy, but Amy is ready to move on to the big thing. Let us do this real quickly before we do that. We're going to do let's do tea time real quickly. We'll do that. So, time for tea. Time for tea. I'm not sure what kind of tea you are drinking, but I am drinking green tea with elderberry syrup tonight. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits of green tea. You all can see that on the screen, I'm sure. So the benefits of green tea: it prevents eye disease, prevents diabetes, improves dental health, improves memory. It's known to protect the heart, good for cancer prevention, helps to lower your blood pressure, is good for weight loss, improves bone density. Now, this is my first time hearing this. I don't know if you all knew that already, but that's my first time hearing that it improves bone density. That's good to know, especially as if you're anywhere near my age. It's good to know that it's good for bone density. That's great. And then reduces cholesterol levels. Those things we know. What I'm learning, ladies, I'm not sure if you have or not, but what I'm learning about tea as I've been drinking it with this, during this program, is I'm realizing that a lot of the teas have a lot of the same properties. So there may be like two or three properties that are different, but a lot of them have, four or five properties that are pretty much the same, which is interesting to me because I didn't know that. Let's see what Tracy just wrote. She said, I'll play this week. I'm starting a box of Yogi green tea, blueberry slim life. Oh, Yogi is awesome. It is awesome. All right, let me go on to, I told you I'm taking green tea with elderberry. So let's move on to elderberry real quickly. Okay, here we are. So you can see what the elderberry looks like. If you didn't know that, you do now. The benefits of elderberry. Here we go. It eliminates constipation and boosts gastrointestinal system. Wait a minute. Yeah. Boosts gastrointestinal system. It should say systems or boosts the gastrointestinal system. Okay, I'm sorry. That's the language arts teacher in me. All right, beneficial in reducing blood pressure. There we go. See, and managing diabetes. So it seems like for the most part, most teas will do that, will help with blood pressure and diabetes. I did not know that. I'm learning that as I am trying these different kinds of teas. Helps with weight loss and boosts immune systems. Now, we knew that. That's the reason we started in terms of the boosting your immune system. Reduces the appearance of wrinkles and age spots. Now, I didn't know that. This is elderberry, ladies, if you're looking for that. Although we know most of the time black don't crack, but it's good to be, a little seasoned. You might have a little cracking. So this is good to know. I didn't know this about elderberry. Aids in eliminating excess cholesterol. There we go again. We hear that quite a bit with teas. Okay, here's another one. Promotes bone strength. There's another one that promotes bone strength. I didn't know that. Maybe the Lord is telling me something about my bones. I didn't know that. Development of new bone tissues. That's good to know as you become an older woman. That's especially in menopause because you have bone issues in menopause. And it alleviates respiratory conditions such as cold and cough. And that is one of the reasons that we are here for tea time, right? All right, ladies, let me know what you're drinking. Tracy says she is drinking a box of yogi green tea with blueberry Slim Life. Tracy, we know what the green tea is for. Do you have any idea what the properties of the blueberry might be? If you do, please share them with us. Let me know. Let me know. Or let us know. I should say let us know. Okay, Tracy says she's looking at anybody else. Anybody else drinking a tea that you'd like to share with us tonight? Let me know. Let me know. Oh, I was going to tell you this. The elderberry syrup. I was going to share this with you. So this is the syrup that I'm putting in my this always trips me out the way this thing happens with the camera, when it gives you that backwards image or whatever. Anyway, you see Honey Gardens elderberry syrup. So one of my girlfriends bought this for me. And I think that you're supposed, well, Corey said, I'm trying to stay away. No tea for me. I'd be asleep in no time. Okay. What about the vitality teas? I got a couple vitality teas, Corey, that give you energy. Oh, well, here we go. Tracy said the blueberry provides energy and supports stamina. I didn't know that. Oh, Amy says she takes a teaspoonful of elderberry every day. Ah, now I knew the elderberry was great for immune boosting. The so Tracy already knows. She said this elderberry syrup is crack because it is tasty. That's what I was going to say. It's tasty. It has, but what's interesting because it has in it a lot of the same stuff that I put in my concoction tea. I think I told you about that. I'll tell you about it if I didn't. The concoction tea is something I made up in Atlanta because we started getting all these sinus infections that I never had before. And I made this concoction out of it. I think I told y'all what it is, but I'll put it in the chat before we go in case you want it. But a lot of the stuff that's in that is in this right here. So in this elderberry syrup, it says with raw honey, organic apple cider vinegar, and propolis. I don't know what that is. But it says this is the traditional immune formula. Okay, Boulevard 40 said, I'm in the parking lot ready to head in. I have my green tea in my locker and elderberry gummies waiting on me. All right. So you could take a couple of them gummies and drop them in that tea, I bet, if you wanted to. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Kenya. Corey said, I drink tea during the day. I had lemon, ginger, pineapple, cinnamon, honey today. Oh, my God. All in one tea? That sounds good. Did you boil all that together? Honey, she said lemon, ginger, pineapple. That's like a tropical tea. Cinnamon and honey today. Oh, okay. So Tracy says she uses that sambucol black elderberry. I saw that. Okay, Kenya said, I'm going to listen to the replay from the start when I get settled in since I came in late. Thank you, Kenya. Kenya has her own YouTube channel. Matter of fact, I learned a couple things from her for my YouTube channel, from her YouTube channel called Boulevard 40. So y'all check her out. She is booming too. Her station, you know what this is? That's stopping me? Avion. That's what it is. Her channel is blooming. It's blossoming. So check her out at Boulevard 40. Oh, Corey said, yes, she boiled it. Oh. Tracy said her elderberry was crackalicious. Does it? Never heard that before. Tracy, did yours have the apple cider vinegar in it too? Because I feel like that's what's making this one tasty. But did yours have the apple cider vinegar in it? Let me know. This one, Honey Gardens, she said no. Okay. Is it tart or just sweet? This one, my girlfriend bought for me from, I think she said Trader Joe's. I believe it is.